Alienware was actually one of the first to get into the gaming laptop scene with their Area 51M back in 2002. I'm not talking about the newer one, which was announced like 3 or 4 years ago, but this is the OG laptop with the Pentium 4 processor and options for either an ATI Radeon 9600 or an NVIDIA GeForce FX Go 5600 module. Both of them were swappable, which was cutting-edge tech at the time, guys. And it didn't come cheap. In fact, I think they set the bar for gaming laptops, and it sort of helped shape the industry that we're seeing today. I remember dreaming of owning an Alienware laptop as a kid. Its reputation for gaming and high performance made it iconic. So here we are, fast forward over 2 decades later, and this is the X16 R2. Alienware calls this their flagship model, built to push performance in a slim form factor. But after spending some time with this laptop, I found myself questioning the direction that Alienware is taking. It feels like the brand has shifted away from what it once stood for. Let's start with the design, for example. Now, one can argue that Alienware has gone for a unique look over here, setting itself apart from the competition, but that comes at a cost of practicality. Let me explain. For example, this thing weighs close to 6 pounds, which makes it one of the heaviest laptops that I've ever got my hands on this year. And it comes with a Z height of 0.73 inches or 18.57 millimeters. This thing actually struggles to fit it into a standard size backpack due to this massive extension at the back that houses the cooling system. The exterior finish is inconsistent. The top cover is made out of anodized aluminum, while the back extension has a silicone-like finish, creating an unusual contrast. When you close the lid, you'll notice that the edges don't stay flush to the bottom deck. I think they pulled a Tesla here, but yeah, the build quality overall is pretty solid. Then again, on my unit, I noticed that the hinge creaks slightly as I open it every now and then. Not sure what's up with that. And then we have a bunch of software issues from existing X16 R2 users, where they reported the keyboard lighting not syncing up with the adjustments that they make through the driver software. Also, the fan profiles don't sync up with the BIOS due to the recent Windows update, and that results in one of the fans ramping up, creating a really loud acoustic profile. And there's some other Q&A issues that users have reported. You can go to Reddit and start scrolling through them. It is pretty wild out there. Here's another bug that I noticed on this laptop. I can't switch between different performance modes. So right now, FN plus F1 should change between the performance modes, but it's really not doing anything. I tried to go into the Alienware Command Hub Center, and this is what I get. So it's still kind of crashing. This is the second time this is happening, so yeah, pretty frustrating. On the positive side, the port selection is well thought out on this laptop. Most of them are located at the back for easier cable management, but I did wish if Alienware was able to reroute some of them towards the left and right hand side of the laptop, because if I need to plug in a quick USB port or a hard drive or a mouse, it's just going to take that extra step to reach all the way to the back, which is sometimes a little bit annoying. But you do get the basics like mini display port, HDMI 2.1, a couple of Type-C ports, one of them featuring Thunderbolt 4 support, and a micro SD card slot, which could have easily been a full-size SD card reader, by the way, and an audio jack. You also get 2 Type-A ports, which are 5 gigabits per second versus 10 gigabits per second. That's common among other gaming laptops. So it's a little bit odd to find that on a laptop, which Alienware is sort of pushing towards faster performance, faster connectivity, but yeah, a little bit of an odd choice here. When you look at the power adapter, this thing is huge. It's a 330 watt brick, and it is massive. It's almost the same thickness as the laptop itself. And the cable is long enough. And this thing actually lights up when you have it powered on. But yeah, not a super portable friendly setup in my opinion. To achieve perfection, sometimes you have to change the game. That means finding something that embodies modern design with a refined, minimalistic aesthetic that can easily be adapted to reflect your environment. Sculpted with precision-crafted weights for enhanced stability and style, whether you seek the perfect typing rhythm, a unique tactile feel, or unobstructed functionality, Drop's CST M80 is a TKL marvel that's sleek and bold, designed to dominate your workspace. Check it out down below. Continuing with the exterior design here, Alienware's signature lighting is still here. Micro LED stadium lighting around the ports, a glowing logo right up top, RGB keyboard, RGB trackpad. They all are pretty cool, but I feel like there's a lack of fresh innovation in the overall look. The thick bezels make the 16:10 display feel more like a 16:9 screen. These mechanical switches on the keyboard sound sharp, and while I commend the low-profile nature and the stability of these keys, it's just not something that I would use in a classroom setting or even a cafe. It's guaranteed to make you the center of attention, and I don't know if I'm comfortable with that. The trackpad is responsive and arguably one of the best, though it's on the smaller side. That can be useful for avoiding accidental palm registers, but I personally prefer something with a little bit more surface area so that I can work easily within creative applications like Photoshop. I think it's safe to say that Alienware has leaned more towards form over function with the X16 design. Because if you take this and put it next to something like the RGB Zephyrus G16, I would take the G16 all day, any day. And I'm not trying to be biased here. It's just that this is a much more cooler, it's sleeker, it's portable, it fits the modern aesthetic, and it just feels right for this era. Whereas the X16, it just looks like an oversized concept design that needs completion. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments. This is what the webcam looks like on the Alienware X16. It's not the most detailed 1080p sensor that I've come across on a gaming laptop, but the microphone sounds pretty good and you get all the Windows Studio effects baked into this laptop. And the front-facing speakers, or the speaker setup on this laptop, sounds decent. It's not the best, but I do like the projection and the clarity is excellent. So at least, from an entertainment standpoint, it ticks all the boxes. The display on this laptop is also not the most top tier, which is something that you'd expect for an Alienware laptop, but it's not really the case. So this is a 16-inch Quad HD Plus 240 Hz panel, which is awesome for gaming. The experience is buttery smooth. I can't really complain about that. But in terms of the rest of the feature set, it's really not that ideal, especially for a laptop that costs so much. The peak brightness output is around 362 nits, which isn't the brightest out there, so outdoor visibility is going to be a bit challenging. But then again, when you look at color accuracy and the color gamut levels, they're pretty solid. You're getting close to 100% DCI-P3, which is really good. They also offer a 480 Hz display that's slightly lower in terms of resolution, but that's also probably going to take a significant hit in brightness output, so just be aware of that. If we shift gears to performance, Alienware's decision to equip the X16 with Intel's Meteor Lake CPUs left me questioning their strategy. Because while the Ultra 9 185H paired with GPUs like the RTX 4060 to 4090 deliver a performance that's comparable to something like the Zephyrus G16, it does so while consuming significantly more power, given both laptops use the same processor. However, the real surprise was seeing the Ryzen HX 370 on the G16 not only outperform the X16, but also consume significantly less power. Single-core performance on the X16 also lags slightly behind. For creators, the X16 holds its ground in applications like DaVinci Resolve, where the RTX 4080 shows its strength, and the story is similar in Adobe Premiere Pro, with the GPU shining in demanding creative workflows. But once again, the CPU choice, it just leaves room for improvement, especially when compared to the competition's efficiency and scaling advantages. But the X16 does score a major win in one area. Alienware's impressive engineering has managed to push an immense amount of power into the chassis, delivering some of the fastest gaming results we've come across on a relatively thin but not light chassis. When you look at these 1200p results, the X16 consistently takes the lead in overdrive mode, where the GPU is pushed to an impressive 170 watts. If history has taught us anything, power plays a critical role in gaming performance. The more power you can provide, the better the results. For some reason, Baldur's Gate 3 wasn't happy on this laptop, and I'm not sure if it was related to Optimus at this resolution, but it's just something to be aware of. If we shift to its native resolution, the X16 delivers impressive results across the board, with one notable exception in Counter-Strike 2. The Asus G16 equipped with a 4080 outperforms the X16 despite consuming less power. This disparity could be due to optimization issues, but outside of this anomaly, the X16 demonstrates its raw power advantage in other titles. When combined with the ultra-fast 240Hz display, the gaming experience is nothing short of stunning, guys. This level of performance is exactly what Alienware is known for, and I'm glad that they haven't compromised on that aspect despite all the physical features that I ranted about earlier. Although there is another concern for those who value acoustic performance, in both performance and overdrive modes, whether during CPU-intensive tasks like rendering or when you shift over to gaming, this laptop isn't exactly quiet. Even with Alienware's innovative Kyrotech quad fan cooling system, noise levels exceed 50 decibels, which can be quite noticeable in quieter environments. So that's something to be aware of as well. But again, the trade-off is, of course, those higher power levels pumped into the CPU and the GPU. Despite its massive form factor, the X16 is equipped with only a 90 watt-hour battery, which significantly affects its overall battery life. Coupled with its power consumption, it struggles to compete with the G16 powered by the Strix-Point CPU. Asus also appears to have done an excellent job optimizing their Meteor Lake version of the G16 for both light and medium workloads. Even under full core tasks, the Strix-Point G16 stands out as a compelling value. The last thing that we have to talk about here is upgradability. You get two M.2 slots, and unfortunately, the memory is soldered onto the PCB, which is another big red flag, in my opinion. This just completely defeats the purpose of future-proofing. But then again, the built-in SSD does provide you with really fast read and write performance. So that's the story with the Alienware X16 R2. The spec that I have over here costs about $3,500 US, but if history has taught us anything, it is to never buy a laptop from Dell at full price. You always wait for sales. In fact, at the time of making this video, I did find it go on sale for around $2,300, which is $800 less than what it officially goes for. So should you consider an X16 R2 in 2024? I think if you're looking for a high-performance gaming laptop, there are other options out there. Because this thing, while delivering incredible performance at awesome power levels, it just compromises on the rest of the feature set. For example, the form factor. This thing is massive. It also weighs a ton. I mean, it doesn't fit my backpack. The power adapter is heavy. The keyboard is not my favorite. There's mechanical switches, they just ain't it for me. The screen is also something that, you know, sure, it's fast, but it's really not bright, and I'm a sucker for brighter displays, so this thing just doesn't pass, you know, my level of expectations. And some of the design inconsistencies that you're seeing with the chassis is also kind of questionable as well. And I feel like, yeah, at this point, it just feels like Alienware is looking for the best balance sheet numbers at the end of the year as opposed to innovation. And that's a bit sad. You know, I think we should expect innovation in the next coming years. And I hope they actually take this feedback and improve upon their next gen designs, because this is just starting to get boring.